Why do influencers get paid a lot of money? If you're paying attention on social media, then you would have come across videos where influencers are talking about how they're getting 6 figures for even one video. It's crazy, but 5 figures, it's something that's very common for one video, especially for someone who has millions and millions of followers. And this is why influencers become a very common term, and we are hearing a lot of young people nowadays talking about how they want to be influencers, they want to be content creators of social media. And with this interest in this new career field, there's also a lot of people who think that, oh, influencers are actually not doing any job. It's not a job. They shouldn't be getting paid the amount of money that they're getting paid. In this video, we're actually going to look at what exactly do influencers do. Now, it is important to note that despite what you might think about the influencer industry, it is a very profitable industry. It was a 9 billion industry in 2020, and it is estimated that it's going to get to a 25 billion industry in 2025, and that is according to Statista, which is a platform that provides market research and analysis. And this essentially means that a lot of companies are choosing to put a lot of their advertising dollars into the influencer marketing instead of traditional marketing like TV and radio. We have seen over time how a lot of these traditional media businesses are actually struggling because a lot of these advertising dollars are going to people who are using digital platforms. Let's really start by looking at what is the meaning of an influencer, because you have to know the meaning of a title for you to actually get to know what the work is all about. Now, according to a successful entrepreneur called Justin Welch, an influencer is an individual who has the power to affect the purchasing decisions of others because of their authority, their knowledge, position, or relationship with their audiences. And I would say that this is a definition in terms of being an influencer in the professional context, but basically anyone can be an influencer. Your parents influence you, you influence your friends, so that means that everyone is an influencer in one way or another, but it's very difficult for everyone to be the kind of person that is able to influence thousands and millions. And this is essentially the essence of being able to monetize your following. If you're able to influence thousands of people, then you can monetize that audience. But everyone that has millions and thousands of followers is not necessarily an influencer. I would actually say that using influencer to describe the métier of working on social media is actually the wrong term, because influencing is a byproduct of what you're doing, is not the job. But the term influencer is used by a lot of people because it's catchy, you know, influencer. I influence people. But lately, this is a term that is having a lot of negative perception, and that's why a lot of people prefer to be called content creators. But I would say at the end of the day, whatever you decide to call yourself, you need to be someone who's actually skilled in something, because at the end of the day, you're creating something around an idea or a subject, and this is why the idea of niche comes in, because it's about something that you're very skilled at, or you're bringing together different kind of things. Then you're creating this wonderful universe that you're sharing with other people. And this is why we are living at a time where someone who's a doctor can actually start creating videos on social media as a doctor. Someone who's a lawyer can do the same. And we're also seeing, when it comes to something like lifestyle, different categories of professions. You have makeup artists who are teaching you how to wear makeup, how to apply makeup that is matching your skin tone. These are people that are actually very skilled. This really brings me to why is it that this influencing industry exists, and it's really not different from why other forms of media have always existed, whether it's the newspapers, the TV, and radio. Influencing is something that takes place in the social media world. Social media is just a different form of media. It's not something new. So now let me take you a little bit into communication class and tell you about the role of the media. It has always been to entertain, to inform, to educate. And when it comes to social media, it's no different. For you to actually make a great career as an influencer, or whatever you might want to call yourself, you have to be educating, informing, or entertaining people. And I think that a lot of people who have a problem with this métier, they don't like the fact that there's a lot more people who have access to actually creating their own media. Because remember, a long time ago, a few people created conglomerates, media conglomerates, and they actually had a lot of power because they could influence whatever it is that you consumed. But right now on social media, the viewer is the one that has the power to choose whatever it is that they want to watch, or whatever it is that they want to consume. It's opening up the media industry to anyone can be successful, as long as of course you are entertaining, informing, or educating. This of course means that there will always be some bad apples, because social media is not a place that you can easily regulate, and seeing how a lot of our governments are always very sluggish in catching up with technology, it means that it's really hard to create ethics around the content that is being shared and consumed on social media. That is something that is going to take a lot of time, but it doesn't mean that the entire industry is bad. In every industry there's always going to be good people who are using these platforms for good and who are using those platforms for bad. It has happened in newspapers, it has happened in radio, TV. It's not something new. I would say another role of social media, the ability to actually showcase your skills and build a portfolio. We're really at a time where finding a job is becoming increasingly hard, because a lot of people have gone to school, they have degrees, and for you to differentiate yourself, you need to do something that really makes you stand out, and creating content, becoming an influencer is one of those ways in which you can showcase your skills and create a portfolio for yourself, and then you can use that to find clients or even create your own company. And this is something that you see a lot of videographers, editors, photographers doing, but also someone who has skills in marketing, someone who is a lawyer. You know, instead of going to work in a law firm, you can start giving people legal advice on social media, and if they find that you are solving their problems, then they will start booking you for consultations. And this essentially means that creating content could be a great way for you, creating great self-employment for yourself, where you get to earn a certain amount of money that is going to afford you a lifestyle of your dreams without having to deal with a boss, and you're still able to just do whatever it is that you love doing. When you really look at a lot of content that is being created on social media, whether it's YouTube or platforms like Instagram and TikTok, it's not as if these content formats are new. It's not like anyone is reinventing the wheel. It's just about taking what was already working and replicating that in a way that works for you. For example, if you look at podcasts, they're just radio shows. If you look at vlogs, it's just reality TV. If you look at product reviews like skincare, makeup, food, it's the same reviews that you would see on TV stations, you would see on newspapers. Only that, you know, those days, especially with newspapers, the people that would write something like food reviews were really respected. They were known as the taste makers. But it's really the same concept, isn't it? Because we're at a time where someone can actually go buy a product, review it, and be able to save a small business from dying, because thousands of people will see that product review and go buy it. There's so many small businesses that have actually benefited from influencer marketing that we don't hear about. I know a lot of people always think it's all about these big companies, but a lot of small businesses are actually finding a lot of success thanks to influencer marketing, and that's one of the reasons why this industry is here to stay, because it's actually helping a lot of people, and a lot of people are actually seeing a lot of value in it. So if you've gotten here and you're thinking about wanting to be an influencer, perhaps you're thinking, what are the skills that I actually need to start off as an influencer? And you have the basic skills, and then if you really want to make it a business, there's some other skills that you need. So with the basic skills, you need to be good at photography, videography, editing, writing, graphic design, storytelling. Of course, you don't need to be an expert in these fields. Just having the basic skills, you can start with whatever skills that you have, and then obviously as you continue to grow and learn more things about yourself, about what you're creating, then you become better at that. And then if you really want to make a lot of money from being an influencer or content creator, some of the skills that you need to have: an understanding of social media algorithms, data analysis, consumer psychology, marketing, negotiation, self-leadership, and discipline, because no one is going to be following you around. You need to know how to capture and retain attention. And one of the most important is commercial awareness. This is basically the knowledge of how a business makes money and understanding of what it is that customers want and how you can merge all of that together so you can make money. And it's actually a skill that you have to cultivate. It's not easy. I'd actually suggest watching the game show The Influencer. It's about influencers. It's set in South Korea, and they bring together about 70 influencers and they try to show the behind the scenes of influencing. One of the things that I was really able to see through this show is how hard live streaming is. You know, a lot of people always think that you just put on the camera and you just live stream, but you know, live streaming is really about retaining people's attention. You have to be someone who can make people stay and watch you for about an hour. It's not easy at all, because one thing about social media, where people have a lot of options, they are not very forgiving. The moment you start being boring, they've clicked off and they are gone. And this is exactly why this métier of being an influencer is not as easy as people think. It's not only a lot of competition, get people's attention. Once you're actually able to crack that, then you can become very successful. And this is why there are so many people who are struggling. I was reading a newsletter this past week about how a very small percentage of videos get to 1,000 views on YouTube. That actually tells you that majority of people who are earning from being influencers is a very small percentage. It could be even less than 3%. It's very competitive. Getting people's attention is not easy. And we've now come to the close of the video, and I hope that you've learned a thing or two about what it is that influencers do. And if you're someone that wants to kickstart their career in the influencer industry, the only thing that I'm going to tell you is bonne chance. Good luck.